So, this right here is going to be kind of the dark side of a Vegas shooting. It's not going to be the book review for it, but so a while back I had read this book. It's an older book written around 2003, 2004. It's called Enemies of Foreign and Domestic. And it's kind of a conspiracy book. It's kind of not. It's written with the concept back in the day, around 2003, so that time frame. It starts out with a Gulf War I vet who's just tore up from the Gulf War. He has every issue. He's in the VA. He's weak. Just nerves are damaged. He's completely shot. The guy is just homeless. He's in and out. No family. Nobody cares about him. The town supports him a little bit here and there, but he's just a mess. And this group from the ATF has a special, I guess, whatever you want to call it, special forces version of the ATF. Their leader takes this guy and coordinates this, how do you put it? He coordinates this false flag. He takes this guy out of the VA. They put him into a building that's next to the football stadium. He's all doped up and can't, function. He doesn't even know how to get awake. And the football game starts and people start dropping, dying. People start panicking and then mass exodus. People are falling from the upper deck and they're falling in. It's the world's worst shooting, mass shooting. And he's shooting across from a building into a stadium. And it was a false flag. The vet was never doing it. He was completely knocked out. And, so the shooting stops and the people leave. And this vet's kind of coming to, and he wakes up with the rifle in his hand. And it happened to be a modified SKS with, this ridiculous scope on it. And he instantly gets shot when the SWAT team, flies a helicopter and they kill him. And, it's the deadliest mass shooting in history. What it was for was exactly this: to push legislation to ban semi-auto rifles and handguns. And it was the start of a push. And the book's whole concept was this was the final straw. They were burning gun stores. This special teams thing was going around, burning gun stores and making it to be like gun store owners were nuts, and they're just getting robbed, and that the population hated gun owners. They were turning the populace against them, and it was a long book, and it was very good. And it dives deeper into it. I don't want to ruin it because really you need to read it for yourself. Again, the book's title is Enemies, Foreign, Domestic. It's just an excellent book, and it says a lot about what's going on. And when I saw the Vegas shooting, I instantly thought of this book, and I said, wow, someone took pages straight out of this book and started this. And whether I think it's a false flag event, it's just a lot of stuff doesn't happen. And could it all boil down to one pissed off, angry guy who snapped and shot? Sure. But how do you get it to the point where a guy who doesn't have any of this training who's not a gun person control a slide fire, which is difficult if you've never shot slide fire before. It's a learned skill to shoot slide fire. It's not the easiest thing in the world to get continuous burst. How is this guy any different? Like any different from a normal person? He, up until this point, was a blip in life. There's no social media account for this guy, which is strange. You think, I get it, he's an older guy, but most people today have something, whether it's Facebook because of your grandkids, or a Twitter account, something that shows you are connected somehow. This guy was connected to nothing on social media, which is weird. It's like he's blacked out. And there's nothing really with this guy except there's some old news that he tried suing in 2011, 2012. He tried suing the Cosmopolitan for slipping. And I think he lost that case too, but I don't think you're disgruntled. He's a millionaire. Like, the guy was wealthy, independently wealthy, could do whatever he wanted. He was basically retired, spending his life blowing money in Vegas. And you look at it, you're still confused. I'm baffled at how this is. Because it lines up perfectly with weird conspiracy theories. Like the concept. I don't go into the Freemason. I don't give a shit about that, excuse me. But it lines up with a leftist ideal wet dream of how to implement gun control. Because that's what that book was written about. A leftist dream to change the public's opinion and ram it down our throats. And here's the things that were going to happen this year. Suppressor Act was supposed to come through, and they were going to repeal the Suppressor Act. It would no longer be a tax stamp item, and any citizen can buy it. Which is funny, because if you go to any of these socialist countries like Norway and this, you can flat out buy it. You can just buy one. They're encouraged in these countries to buy a suppressor because making a lot of noise is just considered rude. So, in Norway, where guns are are heavily restricted, you can actually go out to a store and buy a suppressor. No problem whatsoever. Guns are heavily restricted, but the suppressors are not. I mean, you have people who think suppressors are going to make it like a James Bond movie, or it's just a... But, that's just the left. You had other things that are coming down the pipeline. I think it's sad because we might not actually get the Suppressor Act at this point. So, I would like to see it happen, but we're going to see. We're going to see which Republicans stand our ground. I don't think Paul Ryan is. I think McCain definitely won't. Luckily, we have Trump in the office, but I teeter with Trump because I don't know how well his gun policy is. Would he negotiate for some sort of gun control? I don't know. I would hope not. The policies that we're seeing, though, these people want to push. I mean, I can see they're already asking a full semi-auto ban. A full semi-auto ban because semi-autos are dangerous. Well, this guy used a bump stock, so technically it was semi-auto, and they're just going to use it. They're going to use the high capacity. I mean, everything that the left hates about guns, this guy used. So, I mean, it lines up. A large capacity magazine, simulating or getting damn near full auto. Why? Because full auto's technically between a really expensive project to get. I mean, you're just not going to be able to go out today and buy one. So, it's just bizarre. Like, why would someone do it? I mean, why would this guy actually give two shits about all this? Like, he had the life that he could live. He didn't have to be bothered by anybody. So, I'm baffled at it. Like, it doesn't add up. And a lot of this just seems like you're gonna have people on the left who created this. And whether it's a false flag and this guy's just a patsy and somebody actually just shot from there and the guy was already dead, so be it. Or maybe he got converted. How would you say it? Converted? But I don't know what you would convert him to. It's very possible that he was converted to Islam. Or that it's Antifa. It's just so bizarre. I look at it and it's sad. It's sad that somebody would actually go out and do this. And if you look at the picture of the distance where he shot to the actual crowd, it's insane. Like, you had 22,000 people in a small square area. In Vegas, for people that haven't been there, it never sleeps. Vegas all night long has something going. It's a party town. 7 days a week. It's just never stops. The music never stops. I don't know. I'm hoping people can recover from this. The ones that are killed, I'm really sorry that you lost your life. I'm sorry, and I hope your family can find some way to deal with it. It's just sad. The gun control measures that are going to come down are going to be terrible. They're not going to save any more lives in this. It could very well be this guy was insane and just did it. But I don't know. Do we try to find reasons like this in everything? I think so. But this just doesn't add up. I think I've said that 100 times. Where the shooter is and where he was, at least have some motive behind it. Be angry at something, but there's nothing to analyze. It's like the guy was a ghost and then just showed up, which makes me think that it's a patsy. Like, somebody did it, somebody ran it, somebody shot it. They're saying there's shots from the 4th floor too. Well, I don't know. Could it be from the 4th floor? Could it be from the 32nd? I don't know. If it was ISIS, why not have like a secondary attack? I look at it from the military side of things. Why not? Why wouldn't there be a secondary? There was with 9/11. The first plane hit, and the second plane hit about an hour later. That was your secondary to take out anything else. So, I don't know. You look at all the things that you have out there. It's unfortunate that this right now is coming down the pipe. And you have people too who are flipping sides. I guess there was a new thing with Michael Savage too. He jumped ship and now he's calling the AR-15 AK owners. Why don't you need it? You don't need it. Bill O'Reilly's another questionable conservative or questionable libertarian who thinks, he's not a very big gun guy. And he doesn't know anything. And he lived in New York his whole life. And he's just going to spout rhetoric. And he probably actually is for gun control. But gun control wouldn't have saved anything. Especially if it was a semi-auto. He bought everything legally then. That's the case. If this is a straight up I went nuts, he bought everything legally. And there's nothing you can do. So, at this point, what gun control measure would you done it? Mental health? Okay, how are you going to screen mental health? Here's the thing. It's a slippery slope when you can sit there and say, somebody's mental health shouldn't prevent you from having a gun. Okay, I agree to some extent, but the problem is, where do you draw the line? Because that line can cross and move anytime you want. If it is, I go to the doctor and I say that I'm depressed today, and they take all my guns and I'm no longer able to carry a gun. Well, that's stupid. There's being sick, and then there's being really sick. And then you also have to take in the case. Vets who come home with PTSD, you're going to really take away their right to carry a gun because they came back angry and a little, pissed off, and they need some help. But, you trusted them with a tank and a grenade launcher and an artillery round, but you're not going to trust them at home with their own gun. You're going to take away all vets' guns. Mental health screening kind of thing is one of those things where good idea on paper, but it just can't go in and take it. Because whoever holds that fine line of where guns get owned is stupid. It's never going to work. And the thou shall not infringe part is true. Our founders were intelligent people who just were geniuses. They wrote it because they knew tyrannical rule was possible. They were just under it. They fought an entire bloody 4-year war for it. And they were still fighting when they were done. And they looked at it like this. An armed citizen is capable of an armed citizen is the last final resort of checks and balances for a government. And that's what it is. You are the last in a line of government. The government cannot take you out. They cannot enforce things that you do not want and do not vote for if you're armed. The minute you're disarmed, you are nothing but sheep to a slaughter. You can be completely taken out and you can be completely overrun. And that's what it is. Every other country where gun control was implemented, they completely took them out. Russia, Perfect example. When they did gun control, 26 million people died. Mao did the same thing. Around the same number died. Million. We lost 50 people today and 400 injured, or 500 injured. They lost 26 million because gun control. The population couldn't fight back. The government was tyrannical. When people always say, well, the military has tanks and helicopters and drones. That's great. We fought a war against the most advanced army in the world at that time. The British Army. Most advanced. And we had some help from France. And we fought. We won. We lost lives. We learned a lot where we were at. But the American patriotism stuck through it. And we got our country for it. And I think too many people are going to be willing to give it up. Too many people are willing to take a knee to live instead of standing on your feet. I'd rather live on my knees than die standing on my feet. Well, here's the problem with that. You don't speak for me, and I speak for myself. And you could choose not to have a gun, but I choose to. I choose to protect my family because I am the first line of defense in my family way of life. I don't know. Where do you want to go with it? People are disgusting people. There's going to be evil in the world. And here's the one thing about freedom. Freedom doesn't guarantee safety. That's the thing. Everybody wants safety. Laws do not make you safe. Criminals do not follow laws. So, you could outlaw murder, which it is, so then why do people still murder? Well, criminals don't care. A gangbanger who's racking up kill counts in Chicago because they're having gang wars over drug dealing and all this, they don't care. It's all about money to them and territory. So, where do you draw the line of what's going to happen? You can't. The freedom to carry a weapon comes with great responsibility. However, the problem you're going to run into is it doesn't guarantee your safety. What it does guarantee you is that you are responsible for your own personal safety. You really need to keep that in mind. You are. The government is not. The police are not there to really help you in the sense of personal safety. They're really not even. It's up to the cop. And they're not. I'm not saying that police are not heroes. They are. 100%. Well, not 100%, but 100% of them that are going in, they choose to put their life on the line. They are true heroes. But they're not required to. A police does not have to put himself in mortal danger for your life. And you, ultimately, and that's kind of the whole motto of everything that we do, you are responsible for your safety. You are responsible for your family's security. And you really need to work out a plan. And you need to be ready for the fight. So I'm going to leave it at that. I'll update later this week. More stuff comes in on Vegas, and then I'll have some other ideas too as we're getting going. So stay safe, train hard. If you can go out to the range this weekend and get a few magazines in, or at least a box of ammo in, that's better than no ammo. And go for a run, go for a walk, work out, get strong, and get huge. So take care.